Still available. We saw Neon run it last game. Clock, one of the supports right now that's just proving to be very, very reliable. Assuming you can land the hook, but this time they'll go for the Grimstroke. But fair enough, still very, very strong. The silence obviously very effective against heroes like the Void Spirit. I still do believe a hero like Clock could fit very well here for MIPH if they feel comfortable with it, but instead they're going to go down the Bane route, which is also very strong against the Void Spirit. And well, now you have double Fiend's Grip, which can be very scary to have to try and fight into.
And you have double grip, you have that good hold you want for something like the Void Spirit here. I guess they'll leave the puck to kind of finding that Snapfire in the backline and breaking off that Kisses with a Silence. So you still have some options there. Neon will go for the Beastmaster themselves, so they've got a nice, strong signal target control piece to play off of. That should be our Enryu hero in play here, and that does allow them to have a little bit of push on hand as well. You have some combinations, would say Roar Kisses coming out, would say the Remnant Kisses coming out, so you do have that play potential early on here for Neon. And for the side of MIPH, you don't have a support that really clears out the Roar. You could maybe try to buy some time with Nightmare to mitigate some of the damage in that 1 second vulnerability, but you don't really have a way of fully clearing it out. So you still feel pretty good with that pick here for Neon. It's just a wonder now for what MIPH wants in the safe lane to kind of combine, to kind of deal with a Beastmaster. You have the option for, I suppose a PA could be good. PA into Beastmaster, I mean, you own the lane, but you do kind of feel a bit weary later on because the Roar will just constantly target you, and Neon do ban that out, being the one sort of safe lane here that can deal with Beastmaster. What other options are there? It can be a little bit awkward into the Winter Wyvern here, Mike, because, you know, physical cores don't really enjoy playing against Winter's Curse. But you could, you don't necessarily need to go for an Inkswell combo and you're safe, but Jug could be a nice way of getting things done. It will still force the Roar onto you, but you have a lot of play potential when the Grimstroke does connect. Omni Slash is a good way to get things done, but again, the 2 BKB piercing spells here are pretty annoying for the Jug to deal with.
Okay. Last pickup though, MIPH. If they want the Jug, they can take it right here. What other heroes have you got? Like against Beastmaster? What else do you want to see coming out? We've seen plenty of heroes against the Beast recently.
Jug is the one that feels the nicest for MIPH's lineup, and they do take the Jug for Ken. They could have maybe tried for a Luna. That feels decent enough in lane as well. Neon, you go into the Void. So that's your AoE control for the Kisses. They are going all in team fight, and the tempo here on Neon's end. The scaling of the Void versus Jug is an interesting one because it does feel like it boils down to ult usage, right? Chrono versus Omni Slash, both kind of giving an invulnerability state to both cores. I think the Jug does have a better time early. He clears out waves pretty nice with a spin. He clears out camps really nicely with that. You tend to build Maelstrom, and then you get pretty active on Jug. You are still tied to Omni Slash to an extent, but with the Shards as a build-up, with the Inkswell combination, you're not fully reliant on it. So you're not as held back by that cooldown. And I think for Neon, this does look like a very well put together draft. You have Curse, you have Kisses, you have Chrono, you have a lot of things to toss into the Chrono. But they have to play around that potential here, Mike, as we saw in Game 1. They also had a good draft for pushing, and they couldn't really pierce for the high ground. This time they have to play around this team fight here.
And I always get worried about Void as a hero. Like, you've got the combo, sure. Like, the Chrono plus Kiss is always going to be devastating, but you've got a very slow farming POS 1 here, and so is the Jug, to be fair. But I have more faith in the Jug going into the late game than I would the Void, to be honest. Like, Chrono's always going to be good. We talked about this all the time. Chrono, one of those abilities that just goes through everything, but it still scares me, this Void. Like, whether it's actually going to pay off, whether it's actually going to do much this game, we'll have to wait and see. It should be a very exciting game number 2 here from Neon versus MIPH. Jonathan, do you have a favored draft going into this game too?
Yeah, I'd lean towards MIPH once more. I think you give Rupido his comfort pick in the Mars. You give Ken a very stable core like Jug with strong combinations on hand. The threat of double grip's always good. For the Void, like, yeah, Chrono is nice. You have a lot of things to toss into it, but you're dealing with a Bane. If you don't catch that Bane in the Chrono, grip is always going to go on to you, and then Chrono just kind of falls flat for the Void. Kisses are going to be nice down the line. That damage doesn't scale as well as the Void's right click. So it's all down to how well you play, and we'll see if Neon can outplay MIPH this time around.
Okay, we'll see, John. We'll get into game number 2 here. Neon Esports obviously backs against the wall in this series, wanting to try and force us to a game number 3. Of course, we are going to have our classic SEA pause to get things started, but that gives us a chance, Jonathan, to have a look at the 188 bet odds, as one person apparently needs to go visit the bathroom right now. You know, one of those things, Jonathan, you had a whole draft to do it, but why not just do it now?
You know, didn't we have this conversation about toilet break pauses, Mike?
We did.
Weren't you against it? You were against it, right?
Here's my thing, John. If you're at a LAN, can you take a toilet break? If you're on stage in a game, are you allowed to go to the toilet at any time?
True. I don't think you are, actually. You're not allowed to leave the stage. So that's a fair point, Mike.
Even if we're talking like 2-3 hour game, right? If that ever happens on LAN, I am pretty sure the rules state you are not allowed to leave until the game is over. Right? In my eyes, now I know we're online, right? So it's a bit of a different story, but in my eyes, it's all part of the game. If you can't finish the game quick enough, that's your problem. You've got to put like it's another factor in the game, is what I like to add.
Fair enough. I'm wondering now, does that mean there are bottles at the ready on these long games? Like, can you request for a bottle to be brought onto stage? How about a bucket?
You couldn't.
Could you ask for that?
I'm pretty sure you could not. I'm fairly sure, unless it's a ridiculously long amount of time, I'm pretty sure on LAN they would have to put up with it. Like, you couldn't pause the game on LAN and go to the toilet. There's no way.
So if you can't use the toilet, is it then acceptable to defecate in your seat? Is that acceptable then?
You know what, John? I mean, that's
it's
up to your team.
It's not against the rules.
Well, that's up to your
but
team.
It's not against the rules, right? So the TO will have to deal with it, right? So it goes both ways. You can't go freely, but at the same time, well, it's not against the rules. It here.
When you least expect it.
Well, how do we know it's not against the rules, John? Surely there's a rule.
So is there a specific rule written about defecating on stage? I don't think so, Mike. I'm not sure if that's been a consideration. It's never been tested. We'll find out at some point, I'm sure. Someday we'll find out.
This is reminding me of the damn NADPC last year, John, with Sunspan and Jenkins on the panel. It's all everything was about diarrhea. Literally everything they talked about was diarrhea related. And well, here we are, Jonathan, slowly drifting the same way, aren't we? What do you do? Hopefully it stops here.
Yeah, it's just the ramifications of that. You know, that's what I'm very curious about, Mike.
One day,
the implication.
One day,
I mean, I guess it's implied that it's against code of conduct, I suppose.
Well, like, think about that game. Who was it that the game where the Korean casters were losing it ages ago? What was that game? It was
TI.
Yeah, it was a TI game. How long did that go again? It was quite a long game.
An hour and a half, 90 minutes, yes.
That's not long enough. That's not long enough to really suffer.
I'm talking about a marathon 2-3 hour game. You know, what happens then? Well, that's where the boundaries push, Mike.
There's no pauses, Jonathan. Not for that. Ken, gonna try and go for a run. We'll spin away. Chase is still going, but Ken should be just fine. Neon, they'll actually get 2 for themselves and 2 for the other side anyway. So MIPH, it's a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties. This time around, we're going to start with the top lane. John Rupido, of course, with Lucify on the Mars Grimstroke combination. Going to be there against Bell on the Void. And, of course, you are going to have Say coming in on the Snapfire. John, this Mars Grimstroke combination, we've seen it so many times, but it does prove to be very reliable in the right hands. Like, you land a spear into an Inkswell, this Void's going to be in trouble.
And for the Void, you can always play with Time Walk. It's a pretty long cooldown at level 1 to even level 2. So there's a big window for Rupido and Lucify to look to be aggressive. Of course, Say is going to try to not give that angle once he has the threat of Cookie. Can always use the creep wave against Rupido every time it's shoved in. And can always kind of Time Walk and Cookie out, or Time Walk and Cookie in. There's some options for aggression if you get lucky, but that tends to rely on Bell maybe finding a bash or the side of MIPH overextending and copying a few too many scatter blasts. Not something I anticipate Rupido and Lucify to be able to give to Seth. So overall, this should still be a strong lead for MIPH. And Bell, you mentioned it with a Void, but it's gonna be a process to find that farm here, Mike.
It certainly is. Of course, over into the mid lane, Avatar mode going to be against the puck of JG. Talk to me about this lane matchup, John. I mean, so far, Avatar mode having a very good time on the Void, but soon JG should be able to catch up rather soon. Anything we need to keep an eye out on in this mid lane?
The main thing is that whether or not Avatar Mode can land the Aether Remnant. That's his key thing for applying free harass onto the puck. And we've seen a lot of Voids be able to do that consistently. Puck's mobility is fairly predictable with a phase shift, so that is something Avatar Mode is using to his advantage. Rune control, very important for both sides, much more than the last few games we've watched. So both sides will have to kind of duke it out, maybe even drag a support or two if possible to get the refills going. Avatar Mode already out of mana, still has the bottle. Fairly healthy here on JG, but no charges left, so a bit of a back and forth in trades there.
A fair bit of damage being dealt to JG on the puck. Avatar Mode can be just fine. Pick himself out and go back for the water a bit later on. No rush here for Avatar. He'll focus on the creep wave instead. Of course, over down at the bot lane, Chuan and Enryu going to be against Teehee, and of course, Ken on the jump. Ken went for a bit of a spin to avoid the splinter damage, and well, now Enryu really copying it. Mind you, John, Enryu doesn't end up going for the Wild Axes build this time around. Doesn't end up going for the balls, which I suppose does make enough sense against the Jug. It seems like Ken, though, for now, having no problem.
He doesn't mind that too much. He can always spin on the boards, as we saw a while ago as well. He managed to jump on top of Enryu's force while dodging out that Splinter Blast. And this is a really stable lane for the Jug. He's got a great defensive support that can trade with the Winter Wyvern. For Chuan, it's all about playing around the Arctic Burn. Very long cooldown the first few levels. So Teehee has good windows to still go in and out. And as long as Ken's farming, you don't really care about what the supports are doing. So Ken should be fairly satisfied in this lane. He's not pulling ahead of the Void, so that is good news for Bell. He is keeping up with the Jug lane at very least. Enryu, off to a little bit of a slower start, and not quite matching up to Rupido's pace on the offlane. So might need a little bit more catch-up to hit that Dominator time.
So far, so good for either side. I think the one real big thing to note here right now is Avatar Mode's really doing quite well in that mid lane. Mind you, JG, not too far behind his top lane. Lucify now in trouble. They do get first blood. Bell able to secure it as Wonderful does come out. Avatar Mode will be very happy with that, and Bell even happier on that Void.
And it's a bit awkward. Rupido missed the spear back. Lucify just a bit too far forward. And again, we said this lane is kind of built on RNG. For Neon, they get a nice lucky bash. They get the follow through, get the cookie stun, and it's a fairly straightforward process to kill off that Grimstroke if he missed that. So Lucify gonna have to watch his positioning here. Great first blood to pick up on Neon. Allows Bell to start to pull ahead and starts to make that quicker timing on the Maelstrom look like a reality if the lane keeps up this way.
To one now, Neon again to a very good start here in game number 2. Very quiet across the other maps, rather the other lanes though. I'll say that. Enryu gonna try and chase down Teehee now. That slow coming out from the Arc Burn as Teehee for a TP out of the Bane, and is going to be able to survive through it. Meanwhile, Ken actually going for a bit of a cheeky spin. Just kind of threatening Enryu, but eventually not really going to get much and just back off back towards the creep wave. Still, you look at Ken's farm right now, John. He's having a really good time. 13-11 on the Jug. It's a really great start here for the Juggernaut, and you know, even if you gave away first blood to the Faceless Void, Ken, he is making sure he does keep up quite nicely.
He's doing a great job holding that lane. Again, not too much of a threat out from Enryu and Chuan. The spin just kind of ruins any angles they can play with the slows. And as long as Ken farms, they should feel fairly confident in the Jug kind of clearing out and maybe hitting an earlier game tempo here. Now for the side of MIPH though, you still have to be mildly concerned about Bell. Like, this isn't a throwaway chrono game. There is follow through for it in the kisses out. Even the Winter's Curse to set up for chrono could be a nice way of getting things done as well. You have to ensure that Bell isn't the comfiest. And he's still doing a great job top. That threat out from the Grimstroke Mars not really coming through from the side of MIPH. And just not realizing that aggression. You already have the opportunity to stack up here for Seth. So they are starting to build some resources up as well.
Oh, the Bane getting caught out. Teehee. We find for now it's the Nightmare. But Avatar Mode surely can just keep the chase up and will. No more Astral Step charges though, so Teehee gonna make this as hard as possible, but in the end, Avatar Mode with the Resonant Pulse does get the job done. It'll be his first kill of the game on the Void Spirit.
Yeah, the 2-0 start for Neon, looking good here, coming out from the laning phase. MIPH is playing a little bit more passive, not able to really find the opportunities to get kills. They did have the Dream Coil at the ready, but no follow through. They do at least find Enryu. Ken, going really far. Does have the Omni Slash. He manages to isolate that Beastmaster, so 3B coming out from him up top.
They go again. Rupido this time being the target, but he doesn't have Spear up, so it's a bit of a scary time here for the Mars. Lucify gonna try and put the body blocks out, and now the TPs are coming. JG will get a double Dream Coil off. Still Rupido trying to fight, but no Avatar mode. He's gonna jump in. JG now needs to get the hell out of there. Will do so. Avatar, though, still thinking about a bit of a chase. Does have another step charge, but not really within range to connect onto the puck. But the chase is still on. GG. He's not going to play around here. He'll just orb out. Still a very nice rotation out from the Void Spirit and Avatar mode, making sure that they find nothing from this top lane.
Yeah, just really keeping Rupido pinned down. Kind of realizing what MIPH plays with, especially from game 1. They do rely on Rupido for the initiation. Not so much on JG, although on the puck, you expect some activity there. All that space given to Kendo allows him to clear that bot tier 1, cutting off an access point for Neon, and maybe opening up that triangle a little bit earlier if Ken does want to play a little bit more aggressive. The farm build-up on our Jug is still looking great here, Mike. 3.7k, a good amount above Bell right now, 500 gold ahead, so a quicker timing onto that. Maelstrom is set to line up, and once the Maelstrom's up, the Chug farm does kick in. Even the threat of Omni gets a lot stronger.
Stacks being made here by Chuan, but that would have been spotted out from the puck. Be very careful not to give these stacks away here, back the way of MIPH. With all these rotations from Avatar mode up at top lane as well, but the real problem seems to be the Jug. Again, top of the net worth board already. Very, very scary time. This top lane now, Say, he's going to get caught out of the Snapfire to boot, so Rupido able to pick up his first kill of the game now on the Mars. And again, I really do think they need to find a way to shut down this Jug. Problem is, Enryu's still just about to hit level 6. One more creep will do it. And after that, maybe you can try for the secure. With the Roar out, you can just get right through the spin, but it seems like Enryu's just going to back his way out for a bit anyway, just not trusting he'll be able to survive. They are certainly going to have to slow down Ken somehow, because he's farming way too quick.
There's no access point to TPN, even if he does let a Roar off, so it has to be a predetermined move from the side of Neon, and they aren't really playing around that area. They're more than happy to just take control of their own jungle, keep building up the stacks on their side, and keep trying to get that build-up they'd want further on onto Bell and onto Avatar mode as well. They do rotate in Avatar mode bot, so there is follow-through now.
Gonna check, time for a chase. Ken, he does have Omni available. They do catch up the Beastmaster, and that's a real shame. Avatar, he actually rotated over to try and set up onto Ken, but they're gonna lose Enryu. MIPH beat them to the kill attempt, and well, with that, now that the Beastmaster's gone, Avatar, he has to return back to farming, and well, Ken, he does the same, but that's terrible news for Neon.
It's not what you want to see. There's still some nifty timings to line up here for Avatar mode. Going into the Yules now, has the phase already up and running on the Void Spirit. He's going to be able to self-set up with Yule's Remnant, try to get some pickoffs on the back line. But with a relief pressure from him showing down bot, Rupido is building up. You know, he's got the Bracer up with the Phase Boots and Soul Ring, has the Tumbler's Toy. That could be enough in just getting that opportunity to look for that arena play that we know Rupido loves on his Mars.
So he does. The wait out the Yule Scepter here for Avatar to be able to get that Void Spirit going a little bit more aggressive. Bell not doing too bad in terms of net worth himself on the Faceless Void, but it is still a slower process here for the Faceless Void than it is the Jug. Both heroes, I believe, work towards the Maelstrom timings, but well, Ken's almost got his. He's just a couple of her gold off, finishing it off completely, and that's really going to help escalate on the Jug. They start setting up the top tier 1 tower. They will leave bot lane alone, so Enryu, he can get to work with his own siege creep now on the bot tier 1. It's just smart play from the Jug. Like, you don't want to play against the Beastmaster any longer. You know it's dangerous. Instead, up at top lane, they might still force a fight. Big TP's coming out here from Neon. Bell, he does have Chrono up. Ken, he has to back off right now, but instead they go after Rupido. Ken, thinking about going back in. Instead, though, the Mars still in trouble for Rupido. Finally going down as they'll focus down the Wyvern. There is going to be a cold embrace, but it will not save Chuan to say. Trying to move in Ken. He has the Omni. He'll commit immediately, but it's bouncing all over the place as Ken's gone too far. The Roar committed. Neon clean up. They'll protect the top tier 1 tower. And I thought MIPH, I thought they just let the Mars die with the Chrono being committed, but they do commit. The team fight does not end up working out their way.
And if you go really deep, just find Chuan, punish for staying way too long at the tier 1 tower with the creeps coming in, and they get the big kill they want anyway on Neon's end. They even get the deny up top, so they take away some of that gold that you'd want to have here on Ken and the rest of the team. And that should allow Bell to kind of catch up. Still 600 gold behind the Jug, but his Maelstrom's almost done, and that will allow him to keep pace. So you have to respect that Void. You saw Ken, he already saw that face's Void, still opted to go in. You still have the threat of Winter's Curse here as well from Chuan if you force this issue, but they look confident here in MIPH. Ken just holding his ground and looking for a shove in onto that mid.
Yeah, absolutely. MIPH still looking to move in. Mid tier 1 tower now under siege. Chuan, he does have the curse still up. Never really got a chance to use it in the last team fight, so it's an opportunity to try and set up a nice fight here for Neon. Try and move in, but there's no good curse targets at the moment. Just threatening with the Arctic Burn, but now the coil does come out. JG, gonna lock him down for a moment. The cookie away is gonna be there for Chuan, but that mid tier 1 tower, it's just a sitting duck, and without the Chrono up, without a nice curse out from the Wyvern, there's just no fighting MIPH. They'll back off for free.
You get a freebie objective. All tier 1's gone already from Neon at 13-minute mark. MIPH having really good map control. If they do want to invade that jungle, start to contest some stacks. Teehee already getting a little bit of scouting done for the team. Immediate D-ward in the sentry, and might be a freebie for Avatar.
Nice setup. Teehee in trouble, is going to get bursted. Nice little freebie for Avatar mode, and well, every kill does add up. Void Spirit will be very happy with that as they do get the Yules up now, and it seems like he can start to get rather aggressive. Rupido still sticking around that top lane. He is going to try and hide in the tree line for now. Avatar trying to loop around, does not find him yet. This Mars still running. Avatar going to have a look around. Rupido somehow not spotted out. Avatar not going to go for Reanimate the Remnant either. So the Mars, forcing the rotations, is going to back off, and now mid lane, Chuan. Could be in a spot of danger, but they could not get in range for the arena. Instead, down at bot lane, JG and Teehee going to show up, and they're going to beat him immediately. No playing around, right onto the Beastmaster. No Mana Lofton in Ryu to play with. And eventually he should just be dead. Teehee actually almost dies to the creeps of the Beastmaster. And speaking of those creeps, someone forgot about the Sati Tormentor. So more gold to go the way of JG. As, oh, Bell actually ends up finding Rupido.
They managed to isolate the Mars, so it's an offlane for an offlane. You do still feel okay with that for Neon. It's a bigger kill to find on Rupido, and you are giving that onto your face's Void. So the build-up is starting to ramp up here for Bell. Like his itemization here, Mike, he is trying to go for the Lincolns. He understands that the only thing he has to worry about in Chrono is that grip. He's always going to have protection. BKB won't really help against that, but the Lincolns will. And they do have that Chrono ready to go along with the Kisses if they find a good target here.
Ryu. Look around for JG, but TP art is there, so Neon could be able to catch out the puck this time around. Still a very slight net worth lead the way of MIPH right now, but it is still a very even game between these two teams. On Neon Esports. The Bill still doing a pretty darn good job of keeping up with the Jug right now. Not too far behind whatsoever. Yet I do feel like we'll actually hold that thought. Avatar mode's going to jump in, but a nice arena out from Rupido into the Inksworn. Now starting the mid-chrono. The Kisses, they are still coming up. They've lost Avatar mode. JG trying to back his way out, but here comes Ken. Chuan is going to drop. Bell going to try to run, but the orb is there to follow him down, and eventually the Omni Slash going to go right through him. Sadly, they do not find Say. It bounced towards the balls, but it won't matter because the chase is still going. Say going to be slowed up by that Witch's Blade from JG. The chase continues to Say. Well, he'll make it out, but they found much bigger targets on the side of MIPH. And poor old Neon. It was a good start to the fight, but that Inkswell really just ruined the Chrono of Bell, and they just had no coming back from that.
Yeah, and I said he only had to worry about grip, and without BKB, Lucify has big presence. Rupido misses out there.
It does, but mid lane, Chuan Spin around. Does get stunned up by the Ink Swirl, but Rupido wants to back his way out because Avatar mode. He's going to make a jump in. This is not the easiest kill to get though on the Mars. Rupido's still moving back, and now the Fiend's Grip. Going to hold down the Void Spirit as they do curse. The giveaway out here for Avatar. Maybe even a step back in as they are onto the Mars once again, but Avatar mode's gone way too far. Oh, that was wishful thinking. Because now the Snapfire say, Auto Brace is there to try and help, and here comes the Raw. Enryu does at least find the puck as a trade. They even found the Mars, and now, well, it's MIPH that's gone way too far. They get the Void Spirit, they just wanted to keep going. Not respecting Neon. And John, they were doing Roshan as well, that's the worst part. They could have backed off for a free Roshan after the Void Spirit kill.
They stayed clumped up. They were in a very awkward position, kind of going all in. The puck was very far forward. He did have the blink to kind of try and dodge, and Ryu finds a good angle for the roar. And it leads to this mid-tier 1 push for Neon. It's still a Beastmaster lineup. They still have good damage onto the objectives. And they managed to start, again, feeding some kills onto Bell. Linking some to inch closer and closer here for the Faces Void. Some protection from that control coming out from MIPH. MIPH, for their part, it's one of the things with Jug. Like, yes, you do have presses with your Blade Fury. You do need a shard for that to be up. You're not quite at that point yet here for Ken. He does have the SNY up for a little bit more durability, but whenever Omni Slash is down, without that shard, your output, your presence in these fights isn't as big. You're going to need to kind of just play around that longer cooldown the same way the Void does around Chrono. 9-11, less than 1k lead for Neon so far. MAPH will go for another smoke up though. They've got the Soul Bind at the ready, along with Arena and Blink here of Rupido.
Rupido sees Chuan, wants Avatar mode, but the smoke is going to break. Still nice Arena and the spear out. Oh, how does he find that angle? That's beautiful for Rupido. Yule's out though, Bell going to try and protect. Oh, he still found the puck. He's got the puck there, but JG is not going to be able to get out. Rupido in the meantime has also gone too far and is going to drop. So in the end, the chrono is a nice chrono from Bell. It looked bad, but it does work.
Make it work. The angle was great from Rupido, but no follow-through damage to pin down Avatar mode. Didn't quite have the grip to play with there on Teehee, so the spell cooldowns didn't quite line up. And no angle for Ken to kind of come in and try to go for the Omni. Great punishment once more from inside Neon, using that combination with Faces Void really nicely, and pinning down the side of MIPH. Like, you are still finding this build-up on Ken. He is still going for the shard, and you are going for the BKB next on our puck, but single target control of Neon through those BKBs are still massive. They've got 3 spells that go through and don't care, and now they've got this opportunity to shove in bots. Grouping up in a huge group, Lucify is the only one to show up with easy pickings.
Avatar not going to allow the Age of Remnant. Still Lucify dropping very low, will eventually go down as Rupido is going to try and chase down, and now the Fiend's Grip has caught out Avatar mode. Still they are protecting as Rupido's the one in trouble, trying to run, but Avatar mode will pick him off. Meanwhile, Say is going to go down to the Grimstroke as they get a Nightmare onto Avatar. He's running out of mana. He has 1 step charge to commit, but the silence is going to land. Still, Yule's up. He'll try and buy a way out. Dissimulator's there, but he's out of mana now. Wonderful. A successful team fight here for MIPH in Avatar mode. Being rather sarcastic with his voice line.
Yeah, it does take some commitment out from the side of MIPH. I think the one thing is that they managed to hold on to Omni Slash, so Ken still has some presence. If a fight is still forced out, the bot tier 2 still holds as well for the side of MIPH. And the side of Neon can't really fully commit, right? Like, they're the ones down to Chrono now who have a good angle to kind of drag in their class 1. Just opt to sit back and farm. You are still having a good time for the build-up here for Bell, and even though Avatar mode does die, he's only 2 parts away from the Ags. And once that Ags is up, the Jug is going to be facing a very massive issue. He can't just spin out of anything anymore. He's going to need a form of Dispel on hand. Probably just go into the Manta-style disassembly play with Assange and Yasha. Could be the way to go. But that is still a bit of a pipe dream for Kenneth. He's still working on his Scott. So you're going to have a really good timing here for Avatar mode to get a good jump in onto those big cores of MIPH. And for MIPH, no solutions on hand just yet.
Certainly not. 1k net worth lead here for Neon. But props to Ken. He's still ahead in terms of net worth here against the Faces Void matchup. And Neon, though, doing a very good job of staying ahead of the game as MIPH You do reach a point as the Jug where he just gets unbelievably scary. And I have Skadi is one of those points where you start to get very worried if you are OB Neon. Especially once you get to that stage where you're looking at a butterfly up on the Jug, that's when, well, you start to wonder how you're going to deal with him. So eventually you might have to just start building into an MKB as well, but in how long it can take to farm up that item. The Neon, at least are trying to work towards the Ags up here on Avatar mode, so that should help quite a bit with the silence. Needs one more piece of the Ags to have that up, and that's the Alacrity Blade. Neon. I mean, they've got everything up here, John. They might smoke up very soon and try to force a fight. I think you kind of have to with this kind of draft. Like, you don't want to sit around with all your spells available. And there's your smoke up. Can you go into that triangle that you're looking for? Or are we sneaking Roshan? Not for now. Lucify, they get spotted. Avatar will make the jump in. Bell trying to chase down Lucify through the Vindicate, but he's fine for now. Meanwhile, Curse is going to catch out the puck right into the Chrono. Bell, no playing around. Will take down the puck immediately. Zarina was dropped, but it was defensive. They just want everyone else to get out of there, and they do. But Roshan is going to be completely open now for Neon Esports.
Get started, big opportunity for them. No Chrono to counter Plato, no Curse. That could lead to maybe a small opportunity for MIPH, but without the puck, it's a tough fight to pierce into. So there's 3 Roche this time for Neon. First Roche of the game. Very well protected now on Bell. Lincoln is showing on the Void. He's going to be perfectly fine standing in the front line. Doesn't have to be scared of the grip. Still has to worry about some of the silences coming through and the Inkswell, but not, you know, one less thing to worry about in the Chrono at the very least. Ags is flying in now for Avatar mode, so that silence is on hand here, Mike. Again, this forces a bit of a choice on Jug. Ken is just building into a BKB now, understanding that the spin's not always going to be available for him. He's going to have some spell needs of his own, and that is a good foil for that fresh Ags, but he's still lacking a little bit more gold here on that Jug. Not 300 away, so not too bad.
Big chase on. JG in trouble. 8th of Remnant should land eventually, and all this puck getting caught out here by Neon. Just great plays. The time dilation made it impossible for the puck to get out of there. And now onto the TC top tower they go. Neon feeling very confident with this Aegis up. They'll go high ground. They've definitely got the push for it. Rupido gonna get caught as well with the Yule Scepter of Avatar. And he's just gonna melt, it seems. They will roar him up. They will not waste any time. In fact, Bell trying to go for a bit more now on the Void, but we'll have to back out of it. Tier 3 Tower is still under siege with the Helm of the Dominator out. It's not going to take too long, so Ken has to try and start a team fight. Bell, hold a brace wolf, hoping to stay protected, but he is silenced up. He'll get cookied away though. In the meantime, Avatar is out onto Lucify, but they've lost the Aegis. Ken, he found one life. Omni Slash is still available. Meanwhile, the Arena and Beatrip being committed onto the Void Spirit. That'll be Avatar gone. Onto the Winter Wyvern they go. Chuan is going to melt as well. It's MIPH. They defend their tier 3 tower. They'll defend their top racks, and they get a decent team fight to go their way.
They did have to buy back on Rupido, but it does work out in the end. They hold on to their objectives and prevent any more losses coming out towards the side of Neon. MIPH, fresh BKB from Ken, really good reveal coming out from Jug, going into the Blink next. Just wanting to work the angles, wanting to maybe get an escape route with the Bleed Fury up and running. There is still a Roar available in about 6 seconds here, so no big threat for a push.
Ken, spin off the time dilation anyway. Just working towards a Blink Dagger here on this Jug. It's Neon. They have grouped up again. Chrono is still up here, so Ken may get caught out. Raw is going to be committed. Bell, he'll just commit Chrono immediately. That was a very risky farming position from Ken, and he does get punished for it.
It's a bit optimistic to try to get that farm. Maybe felt protected by that ward they planted earlier on the low ground. Not quite enough to protect. That is Roar, Kisses, and Chrono down. So MIPH should know they've got an angle to go in once that Jug does respawn. Maybe try to force some aggression out from their end as well. At the very least, Chrono is not going to be back up for the combination. Henry's been making great use of his blink though. Fresh pickup from him, and does allow him to work the angles a lot better with that Beastmaster. For MIPH, it does feel like we need that BKB up in Rupido. We need to have the Mars be able to dictate the counterplay coming through. He can't allow himself to be caught out by the curse. He can't allow himself to be silenced up by Avatar mode to jump in. And Rupido is inching closer towards that, around 400 gold away. So once you have that full BKB up, then the play starts to get a little bit better for MIPH. But for now, Neon, they've got the Beastmaster here, Mike. They can just go for the push. They've got the Ancient Thunderhide creep. They can always buff up their Void now as well. A little bit more attack speed to boot.
Nice. Not just a little, John. 75 attack speed with that Thunderhide, so quite a fair bit. Especially for the Void, who does rely on that attack speed to get those bashes out. And Neon, not going to try for high ground again, though. They're still going to be very cautious. Without an Aegis up, not feeling too safe to do so. They'll just try to control the rest of the map. MIPH. The funny thing is, Ken is still ahead of net worth on this jug, no matter what's happened. He just remains ahead of net worth. There is going to be a Hawk to scout him out, but it's going to be rather obvious as there is a sentry there from Ken. So he backs off immediately, understanding how dangerous it could be in this area. Neon, you saw the immediate smoke out, but it's not going to amount to much. They'll just control the Radiant Triangle, force the jug away from that farming position, and hope that you run into Ken for a nice roar out. Chrono is up at 8 as well, so you've got another big ability available. As now the roar is there. Lucify, the one getting caught in Avatar mode, will just blow him up on the Void Spirit. But without that Grimstroke, they'll move right into the tier 2 mid tower. Counter push is going on top lane, but Hawk Dive, not gonna land.
What?
Yeah, JG's out somehow.
Still landed. No, it's still landed. He blinked and phase shift away, but he still got stunned for a little bit. That's weird.
That's his Hawks, John. They're very powerful. This puck. Ain't the Remnant gonna hold him down? Astral step forward, but JG still okay as Rupido shows up, but misses a spear out onto the Void Spirit, and now Bell moves in onto the Mars. He has Arena if he wants to place it defensively, but he's been caught, well and truly. They just burst him down. JG, he didn't really need the help.
I sense
no, he's pretty safe. They sacrifice one freebie kill for Neon. Should open up an opportunity to retake control on Triangle. I want to point out that the wards here from Neon look really good, Mike. They've got this nice ward on the lower side of the ramp by the tree line, and that did spot out that earlier smoke, which led to the kill on Lucify. Neon, yeah, they fixed the issues from game one. They've got good vision game with their wards and with the Hawks out, and they have a nice steady push up to top without the Mars for giving control there.
And makes the jump in, wants to silence out in the Void, but now the spin, Raw is out, hold him down with the Aether Remnant, he's in trouble, Ken pops his BKB up, but can he survive? Omni committed, Swan, he's copping it, Total Braced on the Void, gonna protect us now, the curse is committed, but they can't fight this. MIPH, it seems like they might defend, but Bill, he still has Chrono. So you've still got that available anytime. No Omni slash up for MIPH though, so they are lacking quite a bit of damage. But surprisingly, Neon, they are forced to back out.
Play it safe. They still have good tools to use, but maybe without the kisses to follow through and without the curse to kind of help get some more control, they don't feel confident with just Chrono alone. They're gonna play it safe. They know they've got the advantage here on Neon's end. MIPH looking a bit wobbly. It's been a slow game for the Rupido. We've seen JG get caught out way more often in this game. And despite all the gold on Ken, it's still not amounting to too much. I mean, this is still a jug with just BKB, Blink, Maelstrom, and Sanjin Yasha. It's not like the full-fledged core jug coming through just yet. Going back for the Scotty now on Ken. And maybe at that point, again, you start to feel better. You can chase heroes down better with Blade Fury. You have some healing mitigation with a Scotty to kind of work against Chuan. Good smoke out here, though, from the side of Neon.
Down the Bane. Hold him down with that Aether Remnant, and eventually Avatar mode gonna have his way with him.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ken understands he needs to back off, but the chase is on. Blink away from Ken. So he will be forced to TP away, but there's your Chrono. He did not run into the tree line. He TP'd way too early. Just too much vision from Neon. That's a big pick-off here for Neon Esports. Even Avatar, he's looking for another pickoff. Mid lane. About to catch somebody off, but won't find anyone yet. Lucify, though, under vision. And Avatar, he won't make the jump in. They don't want to lose the Void right now because they are looking to force buyback away from this Jug.
Yeah. And that was really just down to the smoke break. They knew that he was on the forward part of the tree line, in range for Chrono. Bill commits, finds the big kill, have that opportunity for the high ground. Very tough defense without that damage on the Jug. They buy back, it just doesn't feel great.
Rubido's there, double stun out, but Cold Embrace once again gonna save the days. Even the shield up. Give the Mars, and now the Fiend's Grip. It's a double Fiend's Grip, in fact. Oh, they've caught the Void. In fact, they've caught both Voids. Avatar mode. Aeon just is gonna save the day. Still trying to run, but the Nightmare is out. Hold him down, but can you take him out? Avatar, actual step, but the orb gonna fly right through. Have they got a TP?
Wonderful.
Cancellation? Well, they don't need it. Tuan, meanwhile, on the Wyvern trying to run away with the Arctic Burn, but they know he's around there somewhere. Orb is available. JG gonna see him.
Such a limited.
Catches him, and Tuan eventually gonna drop. What a defense out from MIPH. Sure, they commit the Jug buyback, but it's a big defense to come out, and Neon, they cannot go high ground.
It still boils down to the fact that double grip is just immense when you manage to catch the right targets, and they do find the perfect targets in that defense. Tier 3 didn't take too much damage either. And Roshan in about 40 seconds, so some good timings here for the side of MIPH. Neon not going to have the Chrono, well, they will have the Chrono up by then. They could still force the fight back. They've got the Hawk watching over the pit as well. So they're fully aware of when that respawns up. Teehee might get caught off just AFKing here.
Teehee, wake up, sir. He's not going to have a chance.
Wonderful.
Bye-bye. Avatar mode. I'm starting to really enjoy that voice line.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm curious though. He had sentries on hand, then Plant maybe forgot that the Beastmaster is still around. Gets punished for it, and now Neon will have a rush advantage, seeing when it respawns right from the clock. Have the Chrono back up. They've got everything they need to force a fight in the pit. You should be able to find that one for free. A little bit of a shove coming in from bot though. Slippery on the puck, trying to keep the lane shoved in. It's not going to be enough to stop them from this Roshan.
No, it certainly isn't. Roshan may just go down the way of Neon Esports for free. No contest to come out here from MIPH. So another chance of high ground coming very soon for Neon. I just want to wait out the Raw to be available, but that's about it. He'll take the Aegis, Avatar mode, he'll pick the shards up. MIPH, they have been pushing in the spot lane, so that might need to be addressed here by Neon. Or alternatively, they can just keep going through the top lane, and quite frankly, there's not really much to stop them right now. Needs to be another great initiation here from this Mars, I think, to hold down this Void and get the first life down, but at least for now, MIPH just have to play very defensively. Neon, of course, will be on the hunt. They can find anyone before this high ground. Yeah, big boom, and of course, if they can find the Jug, that'll be a dieback. Ken, he's going to be fine to TP back towards the base, though. They'll prep for high ground.
They can hold pretty darn well. We've seen it before from the side of MIPH. And they will actually go for a smoke play out, maybe trying to sneak out on a straggler or two. We'll see if they find the angle. Take control back in the triangle, but a bit rough vision game out from MIPH this time around, just not as full coverage as Neon had a while ago.
Again, gonna see Chuan, but that's your smoke broken, and they're not gonna make the blink in for a Wyvern. Still a very nice kill if you did go for it, but not really much the Jug can do. That Cold Embrace up on Chuan. So they're down a bot lane. MIPH. They're grouping up as Rupido. Looking at that Beastmaster. Problem is with these Hawks always flying out, you've always got a vision disadvantage. Now Rupido has been caught. Nightmare will buy him a bit of time, but the BKB Raw is out. They've got the Mars held down for a long time as Rupido gonna speed the Void away. Tuan now chasing him down as Avatar has to turn back around and take down the Mars. So he does have buyback, but it's still a great start here for Neon as they do approach high ground through top lane. Rupido will buy back. Bill now has the BKB, is through the backside. Say's already gone. Avatar gets caught with the green core, but a nice curse there to hold down the Juggers now. Double silence is out. Do they have a Fiend's Grip? Not out yet, but the arena is down. One, he doesn't get held in the arena. He did use that Arctic Burn, so he does fly right over it. Because now Rupido might die back immediately. They'll try to take down the Mars. The rest of the team already backing off here from MIPH. They do not want the fight anymore. So sadly, that's a dieback for Rupido. The only thing they get out of that is Say. And now the defense is infinitely harder for MIPH.
Yeah, still have the Trap Chrono ready at Bell. They managed to siege up top. They can swing around through mid. Not much to stop it. A full minute until the Mars is back up. Green Coil in 20. Maybe that's your play potential coming through. Grip in a minute. So you don't have that double bind play below.
Again, jump in. Well, does connect, but again, the Cold Embrace is going to save the Jug now. Locked down, and there's your Chrono. Do they have the damage, though? It doesn't seem like it. The Jug is still fine. Eighth Remnant to hold him down. He's still surviving, though, with the Omni Slash available. Ken, not targeting anyone yet. There's your Omni out now, but where's it going? Right through the creep wave. It's done nothing. Ken's in trouble. Big spin out, though, with the Dream Coil. Bell, he'd love to kill off this Jug, but Ken is still running. Still alive, but the rest of the team is dropping quick as Curse gonna hold out the puck, but the phase shift is out in time, and Ken, he'll jump back in now. Bell force a time walk away. They can't hold anyone else down. MIPH, they only lose one lane of barracks somehow. Still Bell jumps back in.
What?
Oh, Bell. That's an Aegis gone. They're trying a little bit too hard, I think, here, John. One is dropping to JG and does go down, and now with the arena down, Rupido setting up the Say. That'll be a Snapfire to go down to this Beastmaster in trouble. Enryu gonna try and get out of there. They do stun him up, though. He's gone. The basher from Ken. Coming in clutch. And, well, John, Neon, they went back in for no reason. They could have backed off. Bill, I'm not sure what he was trying to get done there.
Yeah. Plays a bit greedy, maybe hoping to first bash Ken instead. Gets bashed first. And MIPH, they're still in a pretty awkward position. They lose top, so you are ahead here as Neon. But they're showing us that there's still a lot of fight left in them. As long as they find the angles, as long as they can maybe at least find one good grip, a good arena target coming through. The follow-up still going to be there on Ken and on JG. And we are at that point where Dream Coil will pierce through these MVPs. Level 26 already up in JG. As this game scales on, the puck becomes a bigger and bigger issue in locking down as well. You always have Chrono to deal with him, but is he your priority?
Uh-oh. The missile there, but the Aeon Disc is going to proc and save the day for the Void Spirit. MIPH once again onto the high ground they go. Bill doesn't have Chrono yet, but does have it in 10. Bashes out, BKB force, the Fiend's Grip is there, Ken. He'll get to work, but still they will save with the Cold Embrace and the Curse out. So now they'll have the Void Spirit locked down. Do they have a bash though? No bash is coming out yet, but there's the bash. Right on target. Avatar mode, he will not be happy with that kind of luck.
It's rough. You don't have buyback at the ready for Avatar mode, no gold for it. Clear out the tier 3. MIPH will play it safe, they'll back off, not push the envelope too hard. Chrono is back up along with kisses for Bell and Se, so they've got an opportunity to fight back. And MIPH will take what they can, even out the game more, start to get them more build up here onto Ken. Of course, a little bit more scaling out from JG. I mean, you've got the puck with the Octarine and Quickening Charm. If you don't chrono the puck, she is likely to just zip around, and if you allow the puck to zip around, we've seen this multiple times before, Mike. Pucks are very disruptive in these engagements.
Rax and the Siege Ken. Omni Slash available, but they've got Chrono on Bill. Problem is, with the Chrono, you aren't able to take down this Jug. You need the kisses to back him up, and even then, Ken is quite tanky now. The one Chrono not going to be enough as they get the mid-Rax, and MIPH, they play this smart. No messing around. They'll go for a reset, and there'll be no punishment to come from Neon.
Yeah, they don't see the angle for a good Chrono. They know they've got to catch the puck along with that Jug now at this point. Just to prevent both of them from making plays. And it's a lot easier said than done because JG's now just staying all the way back on this puck. Working towards that overwhelming blink. Again, just the ridiculousness of the Octarine plus Quickening Charm kind of stacking reductively is nuts. 4.7 second cooldown on the Orb, 4.7 second cooldown on the Rift, 50 second cooldown on the Dream Coil that pierces BKB. Neon will clump up for the smoke though. If they get that initiation they need, this could lead to the high ground once more.
It will. Neon. Trying to move in. Ryan is there. They found the Grimstroke at least. The Nightmare is going to kind of save here. Lucify eventually does get taken down. Not a bad start for Neon. The backside, I believe Save was in trouble. JG unable to finish off the kill though, as now Teehee also gets caught out, and that's 2 supports down without buyback. A big deal for Neon. But they are actually backing off. Backing off for what?
Yeah, they go all the way back to the racks. TP's all the way back. Maybe to catch JG, as he was split pushing, but you did have Roar and Enryu, so maybe that was the idea. Try to catch JG out, Roar up, repair that mid lane, get the access point onto that mid set of racks. MIPH, and they need to stall for about 50 seconds here, just get the sports back up.
Look at this, JG, Nickel Codes here at the park. Being very annoying. Another waning rift out. Dreamcore rather committed. Enryu really wants the Roar, can't find it. JG, he is buying so much time for his team. They are still chasing him down. Meanwhile, Rubido, he's jumped in. Bell, gonna be okay with the BKB out, but now there's no BKB for high ground. They're not going high ground, John.
That's an issue, and I get that the puck is a juicy target, but you need Chrono. Roar is nice and all, but you see how mobile, how low cooldown all PG spells are. Chrono is your best bet. If not Chrono, then the Curse on the target. And you didn't have Bell around for that retreat. You didn't have Bell for that regroup. That's enough time. MIPH supports are back up. The double grip's ready to soulbind. We've seen do a lot of work here. Arena is down for a little bit longer, but they will still go for the smoke. Smoke on smoke here, Mike.
Interesting situation here for Neon. It's one good team fight. They'll have this game in the bag. Not many buybacks available right now for MIPH. In fact, it's only JG that has a buyback. Everyone else either short on gold or just waiting for cooldowns on the buybacks. It's mid lane. They are smoked up. MIPH, they're wrapping around. They might be forced to fight under Dire Vision, but instead, no, they're going to find the Bane. It's a good start for Neon. Teehee's down. MIPH, are they still going to try and fight? Curse is there. Onto the Mars, this is looking very good for them. Still Ken's going to jump in. Onto Say, try for the Snapfire first, as they will be able to find him a Bell. He'll go for a Chrono. Do you have the damage out though? It doesn't seem like it. Say's brought back, but he will not make it in time. Ken, he literally took no damage. He took 0 damage. Still, they will find Lucify, but Ken still trying to force the fight. Goes back in onto Avatar mode, but another start out into the Scatter Blast, into the Cookie. Maybe this time they've got it. Ken, he's going to drop with Omni. He never got it off. Now Rubido's in trouble. The Mars gonna drop as well. This game might finally be over. JG, time dilation. Gonna kick in, but he has the BKB up. Can he delay this game out even more? He'll blink away for now, but it's gonna be rather hard to get the creep skip going this time around on the puck. Neon, they will move in through the mid lane. It's all up to JG.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit of a toughie. They don't really have a full creep wave though, so one puck should do the job here for JG. A full minute 20 hold for the Chug to be back off. That's the mid-rack's gone, but they can't go for the mix. I don't think. And they will try. Bell does swing down bot.
Now gonna give it a shot, Neon. Still 70 seconds without the jump. This is the best chance they've had in a long time. Enryu gonna jump in. Oh, they stack up the Curse and the Roar though. Very, very ugly there as Teehee does still drop. Avatar mode, he'll take care of it. The bot racks, it's protected by backdoor, but Bell just trying to go right through it, and eventually he will get it. Nice there from Bell, just consistently going after it as the Soulbind is out now. The buyback is there. Rubido, the nice spear back onto Avatar mode, and now the double Fiend grip. Gonna hold 2 of them down. They'll lose Avatar mode immediately, but Bell is gonna keep the fight going on the Void. Buyback committed by Avatar. He wants this game over. Swan in trouble, but a big roar out from Enryu, setting up onto the puck for JG. Not dropping as the Void was not there with the damage. So JG, he's fine. And you end up being correct there, John. They get the tier 3 tower, but the bot racks does remain standing here for the side of MIPH.
Just down to JG's creep cutting. They didn't have too much time left before backdoor kicked back up, but there is a Roshan to the side of Neon Mike. Rush number 3, refresh along with Cheese and Aegis up and running. They'll be able to find another nice objective to enable that high ground, but he did manage to get the back. Maybe this time around you'll be able to find that use for the Omni Slash 3. He did buy the full Mjolnir out, that's why he doesn't have buyback gold. Still with a refresh on hand. Double chrono for Bell could be big.
Chrono's available, no committed. Ixnor was there, but here come the kisses. He's gonna come a fair bit, but he does get the spin away in time. So the chase isn't going. Is trying to move back in, but Aurora's out now to hold him down. They are really trying to make sure this Jug can't do anything, but now the Omni Slash is gonna fly through Bell, trying to get away. Dice time warp successfully. They actually found Juan instead. On a Teehee, there's your double chrono, but it's only got the Bane. Now Ken, gonna try and get a move back in. Still no buyback available on this Jug, and Ken's in big trouble, but he is going to try and spin his way out of there. Bill will go for a chase as JG. Will try to help. Instead, Rupido back in on the Mars. Now needs his own way out. With the Glimmer Cape, though, is going to be fine to blink away. It's a 3v4 situation. Neon just looking for that one lane of barracks for JG. Going to make it hard. Backdoor protection still kicking in here for Bill. Buyback from Lucify, but the spear's off the mark. Rip it over. Oh, he time walked back in. Oh, Bell! Bell, he's got the Aegis up, but it's going to be the first life. He went back in. They have the Abyssal Blade up here, John. The boy's in trouble. Soulbind is there. What have they done? Double Abyssal Blade out. They've got Bell again.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Mikey. The double chrono on Bane was a good dieback to get, but MIPH aren't out of it yet. They find that opportunity. They're still in the game. They could force the buyback from the Void, equalizing the game a little bit more. Issue is, tier 2 still stand up top and bot, so they can't go for like a mega creep equalization.
Oh, Avatar. He got stunned up there, John, but he has the cheese and he's going to be alright. Scary.
So it's safe.
Neon's got to be careful here, John. They've been playing some very scary kind of strats trying to go high ground.
Yeah, they're bashing their heads in against a wall, and that allows MIPH to still stay in the game despite being 2 racks down. If they somehow find this opportunity here, they could try to rush tier 4s, force a response, and one bad chrono might be enough for the side of MIPH to clean up afterwards and just kind of end the game.
God, the Dota Plus thinks it's 50-50 now as well. The prediction. Swan, nice. No, it's not nice enough. Winter's Curse was there, but Dreamcore going to lock 2 of them down as well. Does commit buyback. Chrono up in 13 seconds. Raw committed for Ken. Already got Juan. Omni Slash out. Oh, they've got the Fiend Grip. They've got the Void.
Oh my god.
Oh, Bill, he's going to time walk away right in time, but Rupido is in again with a nice arena. Oh, they've got him. Oh, Rupido, he'll rub it in as well. MIPH, they're going to go through the mid lane. And Neil, what have they done?
Yes.
They have to know. There's no buyback. This game is over.
Yeah, they should know. They're just equalizing creep wave, getting creeps in, removing that backdoor protection, and back they go. Not much that Avatar mode can really do.
This is such a rough way to lose the game. Oh my. They're trying to defend with Say and Enryu, but there's no chance. It's just an attempt. Time to call it, boys. Neon, they're going to be pretty upset with this one. Tips out of the one. I mean, you're tipping. I don't think it's Schwann's fault that happens. Is it?
No, I don't think it's Schwann's fault. Certain decisions were made to go onto the high ground. You mentioned it from the draft, Mike. They had to play for no GG call. There it is.
I mean, like I said, John, they must be pretty upset about that one. I mean, you look at Dota Plus, it was well and truly going the way of Neon, and MIPH, props to them, John. They played perfectly to make this comeback, but yeah, we can't, you can't hide the fact that Neon, they really should have had both these games in the bag. Even game 1, they shouldn't have lost.
I mean, game 1, they had 2 free Roshas. MIPH just found holes. They were finding farms still. Almost the same story here, except they were on a net worth deficit, but they managed to work these team fights. They bait in Neon one by one. JG did a phenomenal job on the puck, being this massive nuisance that Neon were trying to chase without using Chrono on him. And every time they'd get Chrono, they'd use it on Ken, who is stacked up with so much stats, so much EHP that they couldn't burst him down unless they got chain stunts off along with kisses while he was out of BKB and Chrono, which is a very specific circumstance. And I mean, Neon had great lead, but you have to give props to MIPH, right? They find these holes in how Neon plays. They just play better. They play maybe not cleaner Dota, but they manage to make use of those mistakes Neon makes and punishes them. If you think about it, MIPH is the more veteran team. Neon, Avatar mode, still kind of fresh to the DPC, right? His first tour was last tour. Chuan's back in from retirement as a player. Say and Bell, I don't even recall seeing them in the open qualifiers playing before. So it feels like Neon has a lot more to work in with a roster, whereas MIPH, they've got that experience. They know how to find these conditions, Mike. They know how to find those openings and just blow them wide open.
Yeah, I hate to point it out as well, but you could tell Avatar mode in particular was very annoyed that game. I can't blame him, John, on the Void Spirit. I mean, he was seemingly doing everything right, but, well, one of the Voids was, John. I feel like the other one, that last, he pressed that rewind button, John. Time walked out, pressed the rewind, and then straight away you kind of sit there and we're like, why did you press that button for? Like, they've got the hold for you. You can't get away like that. Maybe a bit of an error. I mean, we all do it, John. We all make mistakes. It does happen. It's one of those what can you do moments, as people like to reiterate in the chat every time I say it. But, it does happen. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are waiting for an interview as we speak from somebody from MIPH, assuming they want to do the hard part of the series and do the interview.
We do, I believe, have Lucify lined up to come in, so we're just gonna have to wait for him to get into the old Discord and have a bit of a chat. I am curious about the mindset of MIPH in both games. Game 1 felt comfier because, again, the net worth lead for Neon wasn't that big. They got 2 free Roches. MIPH didn't mind, so it felt like they were still playing their game despite giving those advantages over. This game felt a lot rockier, right? Like they had that lead on Neon. They had the scary combinations. They had the chain stunts to pierce through BKB with the Roar, with the Winter's Curse, with the Chrono, and it didn't come out. Like, so I'm curious what it's like for a team to go through that kind of struggle in the second game.
Well,
and I do believe we have Lucify here.
All right, we'll drag him in. Hello, Mr. Lucify. Can you hear us, sir?
Yes. I can hear you clearly.
Well, Lucifer, I'll ask you the easiest question of the interview. How are you feeling after that series?
It was kind of crazy because at one point we were like we were in the lead, but suddenly we made this one mistake at the mid lane on the game 2, and then suddenly things were quite tough because they got the ages and we're playing against Beastmaster, so obviously they have vision advantage. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how things turned out.
Well, what are the comms like? Because I feel like both Game 1 and Game 2, they... There's already going to be a good answer, huh? Like, the Game 1, Game 2, it felt like you guys were behind both times, at least for maybe the first 20 minutes. What are the comms like to get you guys back into the groove? What happened?
During Game 1, we were just composed. We know what to do. Like, I mean, obviously, they have the better draft, I think, in Game 1. So we had this discussion where let's not take a 5v5 engagement straight up because they are way stronger, and because it's a TB against and Timber was like getting so much farm in the map. But on the Game 2, it was really chaotic because there's so many things that's happening during the fight. So yeah.
But hold on, who's the shot caller in those chaotic moments? Who's the loudest voice?
It was JG and Ken, sometimes me as well, but I'm just standing on the backline so I could clearly see what's happening, and I'm like telling my teammates, hey, let's just chill out, don't overextend, something like that.
Okay, go on, John.
Yeah, I am curious, when looking at that Game 1, you said you guys were very composed in comparison to this Game 2. You guys were planning everything. Like, how do you guys read that? It was very clear, I think, by second Roche that they were taking Roshan for free again. How does the team kind of talk about that? Like, do you guys talk about the game like minutes ahead? Do you guys think like further out, knowing that, all right, it's another Roche, we can hold high ground, stall the game out again? Like what was the long-term mindset in that game one?
Uh, Good question. On that note, we're kind of lacking because sometimes we don't talk things ahead. Rather, we're just kind of like living in the moment, like what's happening, and then we're just gonna kind of decide from that situation. And yeah, that's
I
how
mean,
it
it's
is.
still
But when we're like in the when we're like putting the aggression, then we could like make we could like plan things ahead, like 3 steps, 2 steps, something like that.
all right.
But when we're kind of behind, it's kind of like hard to think. We're
Mm.
You're just kind of like thinking, how are you gonna be able to like get farm around the map and be efficient as much as you could and hit your timings, then fight with your timings.
Yeah, I would want to ask you as well. It's been a bit rough here in Div 2. Is there any team left that you'd really like to play against to prove a point here? I mean, this feels like a bit of a resurgence now for MIPH. But what team do you want to play against Div 2 that you haven't yet?
Uh, I think that team would be Execration because I've been seeing their games. They're like playing really well as a team, but in their current form right now, their performance was like kind of like they were the toughest team to beat in the group stage. I feel like,
I think one
but
last thing, at the end there, you guys mass tipped Chuan. Is there any insights to why? Do you just want to rub it into the TI winner,
no,
or
no, no, no. We were just kind of having fun. It was.
Oh.
I'm gonna be honest. It's just a request from somebody, but I'm not gonna name that guy. Yeah.
Oh,
No offense against Shuan though.
no, of
course.
course not. Of course
A
not.
great guy, a great guy, great player.
And so are you, Lucifer. You've completed the hardest part of the series. You've done the interview. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're very well spoken, by the way. Lucifer, you're one of the only players that I've spoken to in SCA that actually is happy to talk to us in an interview.
Mhm.
Well, I've been kind of rehearsing myself, kind of doing some practice and left and right. Just kidding. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucifer. We'll let
Thank
you go.
you.
Congratulations on your victory and best of luck in the future, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Lucifer. Well, that was the lovely Lucifer, of course. What a great guy. I mean, it's always a pleasure when you have a guy that's already well spoken, but is also not afraid to talk in an interview, right? The interviews we're talking about, John. Everyone always says it in chat. Interview hardest part of the series, and for a lot of players it does sound that way, but you've got to give props where props are due, Jonathan. Great guy, Lucifer. Yep. He was prepared for this one.
Yeah, I mean, his insights as to, that mindset in game one, that difference with game two, playing from behind, thinking ahead. I would believe him if he said he did rehearse. He thought of all the angles here, Mike. What a great guy to talk to.
He did. He must. I believe he must have been speaking to himself in the mirror there, just getting ready for it. He probably practiced more for the interview than he did the damn than he scrimmed. By the way, John, we are going to have to head off to a short break before we do get our next series started. Of course, for anyone wondering, it is going to be Army Geniuses against Atlantis coming up here for another best of 3 series in Division 2. But before we do go, Jonathan, I want to say I saw Aries HD in the chat. I'd like to request he stop spamming that stupid Zai J emote. It's the worst emote. Stop it. It's so bad. Is it not?
Yeah.
It's a bad emote, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't get it. It's
bad. I thought the whole Morbin thing was bad, John, but this really takes the cake.
True. I do enjoy my more, but I don't enjoy this, whatever this is. It's stop.
If there's any mods in the chat listening, by all means, please get rid of that Aries HD guy. We don't want to see him in the chat anymore. Apart from that, though, it is MLP johnxfire. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back after a very short break here for our second series between Army Geniuses and Atlantis. Don't go anywhere.